Hello, this is Andy Harrell here from his place in Spain. But if you invest with Bitcoin, it's free. So that doesn't cost you anything. So all you need to do is to go to somewhere like crypto.com. There's a link below, and as well as the link to YIELDNODES below. And if you use my link, then I do get a small commission on the investment that you make. And if you use crypto.com, the fees are very low. At the moment it's 1.49% for the fees at the time of recording this for using a card, which is great. So you buy your crypto on crypto.com and then you transfer it over to YIELDNODES. Is it risky? Well, you know, any investment does have an element of risk, and it's not traded, so you haven't got to deal with the highs and lows and the volatility of the way that it's traded normally because of the way that the operation works. You must remember this is not trading, so loss of capital is extremely unlikely. Before we go any further, people that have actually looked at this in the past and invested money into YIELDNODES ask questions, and I want to try and cover these now just so that you know exactly what the pros and any negative cons are. And let's just be clear that if you actually do invest into YIELDNODES, from the very outset you will have a 6-month period where you are not able to withdraw your funds. And the reason for this is simple. They have to do an awful lot of setting up in order to get this fund mastered into their operation. So in order to do that, they need time to make sure that they can generate the returns that they anticipate, and that's why there's a 6-month window. After the 6 months, you can give them a month's notice and you can withdraw your money. And then when you do invest, there is a 7-day grace period where your investment is sitting idle. It's converted the moment you deposit it onto YIELDNODES. So if you put in, say, one Bitcoin at 15,000 euros and you get it in at the same time, then you get 15,000 euros, which is great. That 15,000 euros starts its noding and accumulation process after a 7-day period. So if you join midway through a month and the monthly return as a whole is, say, 12%, for instance, and you invested on the 15th, the interest would only apply from the 22nd of the month, giving you about 8 days pro rata interest of around 3% for the first month, which is still amazing, really. That'd still be 36% a year. I mean, if you stayed at 3%. So let's assume that you give notice. Everything has to be done before the 15th of the month. Let's assume you give notice on the 14th of September. You have to wait until the 8th of October to generate your return, and the return comes back to you in the equivalent of Bitcoin. But be aware that if you miss the deadline on the 15th and you give the request, say, on the 16th of September, you'll need to wait until the 8th of November to get your investment returned to you. So why is Bitcoin investment converted into euros when it arrives and then paid back in Bitcoin? Well, this is to keep the fluctuations and the extreme volatility out of play. This is going to be the equivalent to the value of the euros generated in your return. For example, if you deposit, say, 1 Bitcoin, which at the time of the transfer is 15,000 euros, if the value of the Bitcoin goes to 30,000 euros, your Bitcoin deposit will show as 0.5 of a Bitcoin. Because remember that they convert your Bitcoin, which is, say, 15,000 euros, into Bitcoin. So you've deposited 1 Bitcoin, which is equivalent to 15,000 euros. But if it goes to 30,000, then you no longer have 15,000 euros of Bitcoin. You've effectively got 30,000 euros. But you're not going to get that. What you're going to get is the equivalent of the euro to Bitcoin exchange. So you'll get half a Bitcoin. So you get your 15,000 euros back. But, and this is the big but, remember that during the time of your investment, which let's say was 12 months, if you're earning the minimum indicated return, the minimum return, 5%, which is guaranteed, if that was compounded, the value of the euros would go from 15,000 euros to over 26,000 euros. That's a profit of 11,000 euros over the year on your 15,000 investment. So in the event that the return was to average, say, 8% over the year, and past performance suggests that it is extremely likely, then your 15,000 will become more than 37,000, giving a profit of over 21,000 euros over that same period. However, you have far less risk compared to investing directly into Bitcoin, which could have a massive correction during the time you hold it, or even worse, go negative compared to your purchase price. So by doing this, you eliminate the speculative nature of the crypto market, since yields nodes are paid simply for generating the yield node from your proof of stake, along with the other initiatives the team's got in place. What happens if the price of Bitcoin crashes? Good question. So if we look at the last crash in March 2020, we see that Bitcoin dropped 60%. But yield nodes investors were protected and still got a healthy 5% return for March 2020. Remember that if you invested one Bitcoin at 15,000 into yield nodes, after 1 year the value crashed to 7,500 for one Bitcoin. Your return, as per the above example, would still be 26,000 divided by the Bitcoin valuation of 7.5. So you get 3.4 Bitcoins back, which is equal to your 26,000. So you can see it works both ways. So when they convert your Bitcoin into euros, when your funds arrive, that's a stable form of currency where there's no fluctuation other than what the investment from your proof of stake can generate. So in the event that you did generate that 26,000 return, and your Bitcoin that you put in had crashed in the meantime, then it doesn't affect you because you still get your £26,000 back and 3.4 Bitcoin equivalent to your 15,000. So which is, everyone's happy. So it's brilliant, right? Absolutely brilliant. What if you want to take a more speculative route? What if you buy higher and the price of Bitcoin drops before you transfer it to yield nodes? It's important to avoid this speculation, because the very moment that your transaction is complete and you've purchased your Bitcoin should be the moment that you transfer it to yield nodes without any delay, and this ensures the full value is converted into euros. However, you could speculate. If you took the view that the price is rising, like it is now, for instance, you could buy a Bitcoin at, let's say you bought a Bitcoin at 15,000 again, and the following day it's 16,000. When you send that to yield nodes, then your 15,000 investment is actually 16,000 euros. So to avoid the speculative approach, you just simply transfer it. Doesn't matter what you buy the Bitcoin at, it could be 15,000, 20,000, 50,000, doesn't make any difference. If you want to avoid any speculation, just buy the Bitcoin, transfer it to your yield nodes, and then you're going to get that 5% minimum a month, compounded up at the end of the year over 200% return. So that avoids the speculative aspect. In general terms, this is a very highly profitable investment program. The time of your purchase of Bitcoin is negated by the fact that it's transferred into euros when it arrives at the destination, and then converted back into Bitcoin again after all the investments have been added to your initial deposit. So I can thoroughly recommend this very, very, very strongly. I did write a testimonial to these guys, and thanking them for the incredible service that they give. The attention to their customers is brilliant. I mean, I've said much easier than working for a living. I just couldn't believe there are still people around like Steve and his team who are honourable, trustworthy, dependable, and do the right thing. After being ripped off with a few get-rich schemes in the past, I was perplexed about the prospect of how I could be earning between 5 and 15% a month from the masternoding program. I was always taught if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. Well, I've got great news, folks. This is true. After doing as much research and background checking as I could and agonizing over how I could get my deposit into YIELDNODES, as well as the obvious doubts we all have about trustworthiness, as well as the longevity of the operation, trying to avoid the high card fees as well, I did decide to go for the crypto option. And after just understanding how crypto.com works, it just took me an hour or two to get it all done, including all the bank details and so forth for deposits. I'd never bought or traded crypto before, I just didn't understand it. After watching a number of videos, I did opt for the crypto.com platform to buy the Bitcoin, where the fees at the time of this video are 1.49%. Sometimes they have offers that could be a bit less than that. Once you've done this, transfer the purchase as soon as possible to YIELDNODES. This will minimize any market fluctuation during the process, and you'll ensure you get your full purchase value. I've been with YIELDNODES since the 7th of October, and although the 7-day grace period obviously dented the return for that month, I still got fantastic 470 euros of interest on my deposit, which is just amazing. I've added more capital, so now look forward to more returns for November. I just want to assure anyone thinking of doing this that despite all the terrible official warning and notices you have to read and accept in order to ensure complete transparency from YIELDNODES, this operation has far exceeded my expectations. Just remember, you're locked in for 6 months before you can get your funds again, but these can be compounded and will greatly add to your return over time. Also, the returns are in Bitcoin, so you need to make sure you send them back to the exchange where they originated from to get the equivalent in your fiat currency of your choice, whether it's sterling or euros or whatever. I can't thank this team enough for the way they respond to all the questions and the hard work they put in to ensure we get the maximum return on our investments. Seemingly almost regardless of market forces. To turn a profit masternoding in March 2020 when the whole world was collapsing is an extraordinary result that will stand alone like a beacon compared to other investors who went south during the same period. Well done, guys. You deserve a medal for what you're doing with this YIELDNODE community. Thumbs up to you all. Thumbs up for watching this so far, and if you want to get involved, just click on the link. My email address is below. If you want to get more information, I can do that, no problem. Or you can contact the guys directly. Good luck with your investment. I'm sure you won't be disappointed and you will be over the moon, depending on how you play it. If you want to be speculative and buy Bitcoin, hold it and hope that it continues to rise to unbelievably high levels, then thumbs up to you. That's great, and I'm sure you'll do well. But if you want to avoid these massive turndowns and hedge against that, then I would seriously recommend you doing this investment program, because it allows you to sleep well at night. Every night when I go to bed, before I was involved, I was wondering how my trades were doing. You would lie in bed wondering what the morning is going to bring. And now I sleep peacefully at night and know that in the morning, well, especially on a Monday morning when I can check the weekly returns on YIELDNODES, it's always going to be up there around the between 2 and 3% mark, averaging out at about 12% a month or something like that. Even if it was 5% for the month, hey, that is amazing, isn't it? And if it gets to 15%, which has been there's been 2 or 3 months of 15%, even more amazing. So if you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll update you as things go on. But in the meantime, guys, I can really recommend this. Hope you get involved. Click on the links below for more details and do the signing up process, which is the normal KYC, know your customer. Obviously, they've got to protect against money laundering and so forth. That's the obligation that most of these companies have now. Same with crypto.com. So hopefully catch you all down the line when we've all made a few more quid. So take it easy, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.